Good morning, church family and guest. It's so nice to see you and to be a part of this time with you on this congregational daily connection. I wanted to share with you a verse of scripture this morning from Proverbs chapter 31, verse 31. It says, "Honor her for all that her hands have done, and let her works bring her praise." In reading that verse, I want to ask you to allow me to have a few moments of personal privilege. It's been 20 years. 20 years since my mother, the most special person in my life, passed away. I've had reason to think about her a lot this week as I noted this anniversary. But one of the things I remember most about her is the fact that she was a Salvation Army officer. Along with my father, both he and she were ordained ministers. But what I remember about that more than anything is how she was committed to her ministry. But yet she made home such a wonderful and special place. She was always there for her children. Well, in the latter years of her life, she developed Alzheimer's. And I would go and visit her in the nursing home, and it was a different experience because as a pastor, I became accustomed to visiting in nursing homes and sitting down even with Alzheimer's patients and sharing with them. But this was different. This was different. This was my mother. I was her son. This was not another parishioner. This was the woman who was indeed the most special person in my life. And as I sat there and I held her hands, I remember holding her hand, one of them up close to my cheek. And as I held it there, I recalled all that those hands had done for me. How those hands had held me as a baby. How those hands had helped to feed me and to do things with me, to play with me during those days. How those hands had, well, we'd sit together in church quite often, and I'd sit beside my mom and I would hold her hand and she would hold mine, and we'd listen to my father preach, and before too long I was asking her for the candy that she always had in her pocketbook, and how those hands always were able to find that piece of candy to make me happy. And then there were the nights I would come home from a long day of basketball practice. In the middle of the night, my legs would cramp, and how those hands would rub out those cramps. She'd come running to my room and she'd grab my legs and rub those cramps out of my legs to help me feel better. And then the times of celebration, the times when I needed encouragement, the times when I needed to be encouraged, the times when I hurt, how those hands wrapped around me and hugged me. And even just in those times when she hugged me and reminded me of a mother's love, how special those hands were to me. And as I graduated from high school and college and seminary, those hands celebrated because I'm sure she thought I would never be able to do it, but she was delighted that I was able to accomplish what I was able to accomplish in my education, and she was always so proud of me, and those hands showed her pride in her son. I also remember how she loved my sons and how she held onto them and hugged them, and in those moments I had a reflection of the love and care and affection that she showed me when I was a child. Those hands, they'd shown to me what a devoted mother that she was, and it proved to me how much she loved me through the works of her hands. And so today I honor her. I honor her and praise her for the works of her hands. And I hope also that you will find opportunity to offer praise to that special woman in your life who is your mother, who gave so much for you, who offered you her love, who offered you her unconditional care, who is always there for you, whose hands did wonderful things for you as well. This week I'll be preaching from Proverbs chapter 31 as we gather for Mother's Day and celebrate together those wonderful women in our life and remember who they were and celebrate who they are today. I hope you'll join us at 11 o'clock this Sunday for online worship, and that we can all join together in making this a very special day in remembrance of our moms. In the meantime, I pray that God will keep you and watch over you and just well, keep you healthy in these days of still uncertainty and just wondering what's going to happen next. I pray that God will be with you and surround you with his precious care. Take care. God bless you. And I look forward to seeing you soon.